Bronze medal game 1. Looking forward to it today. And it looks like the race is underway.
What was the schedule like? Because I know they're playing game 1 right now, but game 2 and game 3 are coming tomorrow, I believe. Tomorrow afternoon.
I actually have that schedule up right now. I am looking at October 20th, 2 p.m. That's tomorrow, and October 21st, if required. Sunday is 3:30 p.m.
Okay.
So it looks like we have them off on the standard introduction stage here. The idea, they're going to want to damage themselves as much as possible before the end of the stage here. The reason for that is because you have to literally almost die in order to finish the stage.
Looks like they're coming out with the same HP after the first B. ColonelFatso got a passive one. For the passive B, that just means that the B itself didn't kills the machine gun or the missile. So you actually have to take bonks from its body, and those do more damage. So as you can see, he has 3 damage already. Set for the end of the stage, because you want 3 health or less for the end of this level, just for the scripted fight with Vile.
And they're coming up on the end of the stage right now. It looks like fslynx has a lot of energy. He's going to have to lose some of that energy when he gets to the final area here. So I think he's going to start doing that right about now, damaging himself on the car intentionally. And we're having a little bit of sync here. Now the streams are lined up.
So what I like to call baby's first task cars, I think is what I saw there. Do like a task car type strat at the very last car, but Fatso, I didn't see what happened. It looked like he got some health, so he decided to go for the full task cars. Ooh, and he gets a super good pattern too from Vile. Really nice.
Yeah, fslynx had a lot of energy to lose, and he did eventually get that energy down, but he is a little bit behind coming out of the introduction stage. So Zero is going to save his buddy here. Only time you see the Zero in the game until you finish the Robot Masters, then we'll talk about what happens there later. So now they're going to move into the Chill Penguin stage. Unfortunately, this is the only route that really works in a speed run, because in order to really go fast, you have to have fast footwear. And this stage gives you fast footwear, so only stage you can really do in any kind of speed run here to go on the first go here.
Yeah, pretty much any category in this game is always going to do Penguin first.
And dealing with some of the nasty bats here.
The only way to like really speed up this section is these slopes. When you jump down a slope in this game, you get extra height and extra speed. And you see Fatso doing a little bit of a turnaround there.
Fatso with an extra life as well.
Yeah, but you never know. You saw him do those little turnarounds. You can save a few frames doing it that way because of that extra height and extra speed.
So now the runners are picking up their what I previously called their fast footwear. Their speed boots are here, and as you see, it makes them go a lot faster. So this is how they're pretty much going to move through almost every stage as much as they can for the remainder of the game here.
That is definitely a staple of the MMX speedrunning dashes throughout the whole game. You just want to be dashing constantly. Through the stages especially. I mean, outside of a few parts that might be, vertical or boss fights, obviously. You don't need to be dashing the whole time, but just dashing all the time in any section where it's faster to dash, that's the key to speedrunning MMX.
Oh yeah, gotta go fast. And we have our runners taking on a very cold penguin here. Looks like Fatso's getting some good patterns with some air breathing there. Oh, Fatso's getting a great pattern.
I think I only saw like one or two slides. Maybe it was just one.
I think it was only one, and I know I've seen two for Slinks already, at least.
Not having quite as great of a fight, but that's also RNG dependent as well, because Penguin can do his sliding, and he's invincible during that whole period. Faster if he has that ice breath, because you can do a bit of a CFO strat. So the Penguin fight can be a little bit complicated, and it's right at the beginning of the speed run. So
it makes a good reset point for everyone who's speedrunning this game. If you get bad RNG, like 3-4 slides, you know you're not going to have a good run compared to your one slide run. I know when I'm playing, I find that slide is the thing I hate the most.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So now both runners are in Boomer Quanger. We're coming up to the elevator segment here with some very deadly spikes. Looks like, I think they're going to take damage and possibly go through one of those spikes. It's possible to actually go through those spikes if you are invulnerable and not actually get killed.
I've seen Fatso run this game. He doesn't opt to do the glitch, or whatever you want to call it, where you don't take damage. But you saw fslynx do it a few times. Can make the elevator a little bit boring. So it seems like Fatso likes to shoot the enemies on the way up. fslynx as well. Small thing to mention, I guess, for X1. Really, really tiny in the ladders. Jumps in general are just hard to get because what you're doing is kicking in between the ladder gaps, obviously, and there's a wall on either side of them. But there's a very, very small window in which to do that. The smallest. So any gap jumps you see, definitely shout outs to that, to the good movement.
Oh, Fatso! Both runners fighting Quanger, and we have a death by Fatso. That's going to give Slinks a chance to take the lead here.
This whole time I was focused on... I didn't even see what happened.
He looks like he just must have gotten a bad pattern. I didn't notice exactly what happened myself, but it looks like he got a bad pattern and just took too many hits and too much damage. Slinks had a lot of HP left. He had a really good fight from the looks of it.
And did he get the headbutt, or what? Did he accidentally dash into him or something? I'm not sure. Well, either way, it's unfortunate.
I didn't see exactly. I just see he died.
I'm not sure. Either way, Quanger's dead, so he's through.
Okay, moving on to the next stage.
Had a good rock dodge there for a second, but then he ran right into one. A couple other nice one there too, but then he gets rocked again. The spot in this whole stage is that cave right there with the rocks falling down.
I hate that.
They're lemons, but sometimes they just fall right in front of you and it's impossible to shoot them.
The stage is almost easier in 100% only because you will go up to the top and actually fight the robot up there to get another part first. There is a part up there that another of the I think it's 4 parts that you get in this game. And that gets rid of all the rocks of that cave. Makes it a lot easier to go in that area. So if you're just playing this casual, you want to get that guy out before they're going through the cave. Makes it a lot easier to get through there. And pretty much one of the easier boss fights of the game. Just walk back and forth and chuck boomerangs, and Chameleon goes down.
Yep. Opt to start the fight with a charge shot too. This is a very small station, but it helps because each boss actually starts with 32 health, and the boomerangs do 3. So if you can get 2 damage in right at the very start of the fight as fast as possible, it can save a number of frames doing it that way. The only problem with that strat is based only because Chameleon can jump to the left up high, and if he does that, like, you can't get the shot on him quick enough.
So I forget what. Go ahead. Yeah. Sorry.
I just forget what the odds of that is if he's doing the short hop or the big hop. But anyway, it's not important.
Moving into Storm Eagle, we do have fslynx still in a, at this point, somewhat significant lead. He's already about halfway through the stage, and Fatso is just starting it here. And just like that, fslynx is coming up to the boss. Cross a few platforms, go across the ship, sneak down that way and get through. You don't have to go through the door, which takes a lot of time.
And meanwhile, on Fatso's screen, you get the death kick, for those who are wondering.
Since we may have a lot of new viewers watching, what is the death kick?
Death kick is a somewhat easy strat for veteran runners for sure. There's a good visual cue. First kick on one of those moving platforms that go up and down, that you die because you fall. So you save 20 frames at risk of dying and losing, you know, however long it takes you to get back to that point.
And both runners dispatch the Eagle. They are now halfway through the Mega Man X bosses here. We're moving into one of the guys I hate, Spark Mandrill, but he is an easy boss fight if you can freeze him.
Would venture to guess that both runners are going to go straight to, yeah, Spark Mandrill. It's interesting about any percent, because they will be doing any percent in terms of route for the 24 Mavs, since it's the fastest for X1 and the 8 Mavericks. But you can actually do Mammoth at any point because you have the Tornado. Flame Mammoth is.
I do.
Mammoth's weakness, so you can just do it at any point.
I do agree. They will definitely go ahead and do the route that involves not getting all the parts. If it was a case where they were going all the way through the game and fighting Sigma, it very possibly could be faster to get all the parts and use the Shoryuken and the Hadoken, depending on whether it's X1 or X2. But in this game, as soon as you get the last boss, you go straight into X2. You don't have to go all the way, so no needing all the parts to gear up for Sigma.
fslynx opting to grab that health. Because if you get a punch from this guy, it can be pretty devastating if you're not prepared for it.
At the same time, if you are able to maintain a good rhythm, it is possible to beat this Spark Mandrill without any damage. Just freeze him, and well, that's a bad luck right there. You luckily got away from that.
For maybe casual players of this game who remember guy and basically stun locking him to the end, it's actually a little bit faster. You can get a shot in right when he breaks out of his ice, actually, and that can make the fight a lot faster. You're basically doing, you know, twice the amount of damage.
And now the runners are going to go fight an Anteater. This is one of those stages that actually changes depending on what bosses you have finished. If you actually don't take out Chill Penguin, this stage is a raging inferno, and there's fire coming out of the lava below you, and the lava is instant death. There's actually a heart container down at the bottom you can't actually grab in that kind of scenario. Of course, these runners don't need that heart container anyway. And very quickly, already on to the boss, and fslynx again is still has a somewhat significant lead, but I think Fatso is starting to catch up. It looks like he's not too far behind now.
Yep. Sorry, I will be right back. My roommate was looking for my car key. Give me 2 seconds.
No worries. And fslynx completes the fight. Fatso still has a lot of damage to make cause, but he should not be too far behind. There it is. And going now to Armored Armadillo.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Sometimes we have to play a little bit of musical cars because we don't have much of a driveway. But anyway, back to MMX.
Driveway space can be at a premium in some places.
Much to say about this stage. It's definitely one of the more straightforward stages, just like Chameleon.
Yeah, the main thing
is tense, and you're just riding on that cart like almost the whole time.
Exactly, the main things to do: ride the cart and run away from the big, crushy, spiky things of death.
The only thing is this final part right here. Like you saw fslynx jumping up and down, doing the same thing. The only reason you're doing that is to despawn the birds. Birds that like appear, you know, up in the air that you have to shoot. Spawn triggers are only during periods of time where you're standing on the cart, and I believe it's on a slope or a flat surface. I'm not sure which one it is, but either way, as long as you jump outside of that, and they definitely cause a lot of lag, so that's a big time save in this stage. Rolls though. That
was a long rolling pattern for Fatso as well. I think he got a little unlucky with the pattern because you can't damage Armadillo when he's bouncing around like that in his armor. So we're on our final boss of the Mega Man X1 game, which is the Octopus.
Yeah, Octo stage is basically just mini boss central.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. You get to kill a couple mini bosses. There's the sub that you can optionally kill to get to another mini boss to get a heart, which these runners again are not going to go for because they're done right after this stage. Those columns that fslynx pass get you to that sub actually. And very quickly dispatching the mini boss, the big snake that would normally come out of that ground.
Alright, and let's see what sort of 8 Mav time fslynx is coming out of X1 with.
And more importantly, what the lead is.
I was gonna know earlier, actually, and fslynx went ahead and showcased it. And why we put Octo last now? I'm not gonna say very recently, but kind of recently, it was discovered that if you hold Fire Wave, jump into Octo's energy drain, an automatic just 1 HP drain, and there's no risk of an infinite combo, which can be a thing for Octo. There's some sort of underflow in his coding that if you mash at the wrong time, he'll just energy drain infinitely, and you can't escape. But the fire wave strat, that whole thing, so it's pretty nice.
And as we get into the X2 game now, the times for X1 were, I think, a 1910 versus a 19, or it might be a 1920 versus a 1930, actually. So about a 10-second lead.
So has closed the gap a bit. Death to Kwanger is definitely not going to keep him out of this race.
And to be fair, anything can happen in this race, and any death somewhere can cost a lot of time when you're against a runner of this caliber. And now the runners face off against a giant robot. 5 charge shots to the head. Take it out. I think they gained some time back there. Yeah, fslynx lost a little bit of time. It looks like that wasn't a very clean fight for fslynx. Fatso had a very clean fight. Of the 3 games in the series, I think this is the most fun game I find to watch being speedrun. The strategies in some of these stages are really, really unique, and some of the techniques are really, really refined to go really fast in this game.
I mention as well because this is the 24 Mav category. We're not doing the usual any percent. I don't think so for either of these runners.
fslynx does not get the elevator. Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say fslynx did not really get the elevator skip there. Fatso looks like he got up there really quickly, so he gained a little more time back.
Oh yeah. Closing the gap a bit more. So what's interesting about X2 in this category is you would be doing short Yukonless, which is more or less like the task way of doing this game. It's not like any percent where you would be getting all of the items to get the short Yukon at the end. The items, except for the Buster upgrade, which saves you a ton of time because of the burner dash, as well as like the weapons for the other boss fights. In that way, I guess.
Now, one thing that is really difficult with the sponge fight, and fslynx is having it right now, he got the rage. Fatso did not get the rage. If you have a sponge at 8 HP or less and he touches the ground, he gets angry. He doesn't like having low HP touching the ground. And just like that, Fatso takes the lead.
X1 and X2 are definitely... They have a lot of RNG. You can see with the bosses, especially in X2, right at the very beginning, you've got Sponge, and, you know... well... If you get him angry, you know, you're losing 9 seconds to begin with, but also if you wait to try and get a good pattern from him, and he never gives it to you, and then you just make him angry anyway, you've already lost that time plus some, so... In a race setting.
And the runners are going for, looks like Fatso is going for the part on top. Is this part of the standard route for this particular race?
Well, I was talking about before. So this is the only item that they're going to be getting in X2. And I believe it's the only item that they're going to be getting, period, outside of X3 dash boots. Yeah, the reason why the Buster upgrade in this game is so important is because you can see that charge chain, and then when they defeat Stag, they're going to have the burner dash. Outside of that, outside of the movement stuff, weapons are really, really effective against the bosses and way faster as opposed to not getting the Buster upgrade. So going for a pretty interesting strat. I don't know if I've ever seen that one, but pulled it off how he wanted it to.
Very nice jump into the boss door by Fatso there. Let's see if fslynx can keep up with that.
Hey, what separates this game from the other two is it's intensive, especially with the chain and burner.
And let's see if he can keep a good strike chain on Gator here. Looks like he got the whole entire chain. Let's see how fslynx does on that.
He's getting it.
Perfect strike chains on Gator for both runners.
The fight is pretty wide, actually. 5 frames, I believe, is what it is. And if you see a splash when you get the shot on,
If you
could have shot him.
If you see a splash, you're losing a lot of time. He hides in there and throws some wheels up at you and tries to eat you.
Down, you're losing a ton of time. So getting that full combo is definitely really important in the speed run.
I'd say it's probably one of the most important parts of the X2 speed run. Personally, it's about a 10, 11, 12 second, somewhere in that range time loss, I think.
Yeah. And especially if you miss it that first time, sometimes it can be hard to recover and get it the second time. I'll ball in that way.
And the runners are entering the Rising Inferno segment. And they are leaving the Rising Inferno segment.
Yeah, Fatso, a nice climb there. fslynx as well. Just making his way up, easy peasy. This is the important one, though, for sure. You got these little tiny ledges. Always faster to dash jump off of a ledge like that than it is to kick off the wall. So you really want to utilize that. So having a really decent climb.
Yeah, fslynx had a great climb there as well. I almost want to say he gained a second or two on that climb. Like, it's hard to tell without looking at the timers on each split, but looks like he might gain a small amount of time there.
Ooh, Fatso got a little bit of fireballs there. So I think widen the gap a little bit just because of those fireballs.
Yep, that's going to make a difference.
fslynx got a couple too. He's okay, he's fine. I was gonna say it's getting a little risky there. Is it faster, JP? Are you kidding me? Dude, Shoryukenless is the only true category.
So runners entering, I believe it's Monarch Butterfly with a 14-second lead for ColonelFatso at this point. And I believe they have a boss they try to skip here, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct?
I mean, I think any X2 runner wishes they could skip these mini bosses. Unfortunately, you cannot. They are RNG based. These old mechs. You destroy their little like torso part. Small hop, a big hop, or they can just fall down immediately. And what you want is for them to fall down immediately. But interesting in this stage because in regular any percent, you have all the items, and with the helmet and the body armor and just like everything together, you actually have more ammo. weapons. But since you don't have any of that, you just have the Buster upgrade, you don't have as much ammo and as much burner energy as you can, as well as like trying to use it throughout the stage in the most optimal way, because the weakness for this boss turns out to be burner as well. Fatso used just enough to where he can finish this fight. Oh, he missed that shot though. He's gonna switch to Buster. Yep.
I just want to highlight a quick comment in the chat here. Here on the Twitch chat, in our live chat, we have a comment that one of our chatters wishes Shoryu wasn't faster in this game. He says it looks so much better without having to stop for all the items. I completely agree with you, JPO Gamers. I completely agree.
Gap a bit too, though. ColonelFatso not having a great fight there because he missed that one shot. fslynx ended up with 2 ammo left, and not that that's that big of a deal, honestly. It was probably just like 1 or 2 burners that he could have used, but
fslynx gained a lot of time back on the stage. Looks like about 3-4 second lead now for Fatso. And as the runners move into our next stage here, I just want to remind you, follow these runners. They are putting on a good show for you here. Make sure to check out their Twitch channels. There they are in the chat. This is probably one of the better musical tracks, in my opinion, in the game. It's actually kind of interesting how you just go right back to the exact same stage in the final stage of the game.
whoa! fslynx is okay.
He almost got crushed. That was dangerous.
Save by fslynx for sure.
Getting crushed there is a lot of time lost. Right back to the start.
Last mini boss before the boss of the stage.
Small amount.
Messing up.
That's why a small amount of trouble at the end there with a hit, but he did get through it. Very close again here.
Right, hopefully we'll see a tailspin.
About 2.5 second lead, I think, on the door.
Familiar with this tailspin cyclone?
I am familiar with it. I have watched one runner have troubles with this before. Gets the yep.
First
looks
try.
like yeah, fslynx got it on the first try. And fslynx is now in the lead, just barely. Very close.
That's
it's very Fatso stays in the lead.
He just messed up the very, very end of it. He got bonked by one of those tail fragments. He was trying to end it with a charge shot, but
very unfortunate.
Would have gotten that shot, it would have been like almost a sink for sure.
Yeah, very, very certainly. It looked like based on the damage meter, fslynx did slip in the lead at one point there during the fight, but that bonk put him right back slightly behind.
Kristar My Mine, of course, the guy. In any percent, this is probably one of the most technical stages. It's a little bit simpler in Shoryukenless, only because you don't have to get that with the mech. You also don't have to get the helmet upgrade. But you always skip this mini boss. Poor guy.
This is the one I was thinking about earlier. I was mistaken on that call earlier there.
Yeah, that's the one. He gets skipped in pretty much every category. Poor guy.
Agreed. Never gets any time in the limelight. And both get to the boss in about the same time frame here, so about a 1 second lead here again for Fatso.
And this is definitely one of the bosses that the Buster upgrade is really important for. You'll see them do a quick kill here. They start out with a buffered lemon and then the charge shot, and then switch to the magnet mine. They lay a magnet mine down, and while he takes the shot from that, you can get the charge ready to do a charge magnet mine and just go up and down with it. It makes that fight way quicker than trying to bounce around his shell and shoot normal magnet mines.
Yeah, it's a little slower playing some shell soccer there. Fatso retaining about a 1 second lead there. So pretty, I guess we can say that's a pretty sync stage. If you were to put them side by side, probably pretty sync there.
Oh yeah, the lead gap between the two hasn't changed almost at all since the last stage. And I can't imagine it will up until X2 ends. We'll see though, just because these stages are so short at the end of this 2 run.
Now it's time for everyone's favorite new minigame, Crash the Bike, or not.
Definitely be crashing the bike. Get the bike through the door though. That's the real challenge.
Yep, they both got through, it looks like. They both got to the door.
Both crashed right into the door.
Unfortunately, the bike does not survive the door.
That is the standard low percent way of going through this stage. Yeah, so why get off it, you know? Just ride it all the way to the end.
And we get to do the ostrich what we did to Spark Mandro, basically rendering it immobile once in a while and getting some free shots on it. And fslynx just took the lead.
Yeah, just by a little bit too. The only reason he took that lead is it looks like he got a couple more quick double hits than Fatso did. And
fight, yes.
Yeah, when Ostrich reaches the apex of his jump at the very, very top, he actually loses his iframe, so you can get a dash lemon, swap to the Crystal Hunter, and shoot that right after. So you do 5 damage within that, like, window. And every time you do that, you know, obviously it's a lot faster. And it looks like fslynx got a couple more than Fatso did there. Maverick of X2.
Yep, this is our final Maverick with the bubbly crab.
Nice so far. See them both almost doing the same kind of setup for their their burner there. That was kind of funny. Both getting the jellyfish bonk too. Oh, it's ridiculous.
And this is about sync right now. They are literally in sync.
Doing a dash lemon and the Crystal Hunter. Oh, Fatso's movement was a little... For a second there, it was...
Fatso barely gets to the door first. This is going to come down to the X3 game, it looks like.
Okay, it was Lynx's movement that was a little fluffed. I couldn't tell, right? Because they're just, like, together that whole time.
And now we're going to drop some wheels on the crab, and we're going to exchange cartridges again. Fatso getting the edge on the fight. He is going to clock a kill at 39-14. Oh, fslynx actually got... Oh, can't tell who's ahead.
Oh, he got a 39-14 too. So they should both be
tied. Wow.
Should be starting at 44.
Yeah, both should start at 44, I would imagine.
So I don't know if you mentioned at the start of the race, but this tournament yet, there is a fairness involved because you actually do have to change your controls depending on what your dash button is, what the preference is for these games. So we decided on a 30-second.
Looks like based on the start, Fatso is slightly ahead.
Only slightly. Gonna decide it.
Yeah, this is a decisive game, and this is also, I think, the longest opening of the 3, if I'm not mistaken, in the 3 games.
Also, we probably shouldn't get... There are 2 more games, potentially. This is only the first of a, set of 3.
Correct. Just a reminder, once again, you can catch Game 2 of this really exciting series already. Tomorrow, Saturday, on the Speed Gaming Network. I don't think the channel is assigned for it yet, so keep your eye on the schedule to see where it ends up. It's at 2 p.m. And if needed, if Game 3 ends up required, and with this close race, it very well could be, it will be Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
It's tomorrow at 3:30?
Yep, 3:30. And now we get our chance to play as Zero in this game. There is a possibility to also play as Zero during one of the stages later on as well, but then normally in the Sigma stage you would lose the chance to get the final item, his beautiful saber. So now he's going to save his buddy X, and we're going to go back to playing X.
And that will be the only time you see Zero, unfortunately.
Bye, Zero, but nice seeing you. We'll love you forever.
Out of that intro, a little bit of a lead. To say about that, this is kind of an interesting intro boss fight. Obviously, it's very easy. Intro boss fights in Mega Man games are pretty easy. What's interesting about him is he can pretty much at random throw his fists out, and sometimes he'll have a fight where he doesn't throw his fists out at all, and sometimes he'll have a fight where he just won't stop throwing his fists out. So, I don't know, it's just this boss fight. Looks like both players got pretty moderate patterns. Moderate. I
think Fatso got a slightly better pattern because he did get it in the lead here, just a little bit.
Alright, they're moving right to Buffalo, which is the more movement-intensive stages. As you can tell, these downward slopes give you a ton of speed, so trying to optimize that. Sure.
Yep, this is definitely a very cool stage, needless to say. I do not feel bad about making that pun. This game also has a lot of these little mini rooms, like little mini boss type rooms here. Any of the 8 stages in the game you can run into 2 mini bosses we'll run into later. We'll talk about them when we see them. And yeah, we'll talk about them when we see them.
And Fatso gonna grab the dash boots. fslynx also gonna grab the dash boots.
Yep, both get the dash boots.
Games have kind of like a continual progression of dash boots, especially X1 through X3. X1, you get the boots, you can dash. X2, you can dash in the air. Okay, not only can you dash in the air, but you can also dash upwards. More than it is, because a lot of times in X3, the up dash can be not the best thing ever. The reason I say that is because you have to hold up the entire time that you're dashing, otherwise it gets canceled. And a lot of times, if you're like barely holding up, it'll register an up dash for no reason. So hopefully we don't see a lot of
fslynx got frozen a little bit there. fslynx lost the pattern.
Fight here.
Yeah, he lost the pattern, and that's giving Fatso a significant lead right now. I know that when you're just playing casually, a lead of, I think Wabi says about 10 seconds or so, it doesn't seem like a lot. But when you're playing runners of this caliber, it's an eternity. You have to try and make back.
Well, we've only started X3. The ice beam
Correct.
isn't gonna call the race yet. I don't think. Could happen. So having a pretty decent climb so far. Yeah, it's very, very clean. Going on onto this section 2. This is also one of the more movement-intensive game. Seahorse has 2 of these, actually. The first one on there, and as well as the second one, too, depending on what these runners try to do here. Maybe a ladder gap, some up-dashing, that kind of thing.
Okay, time for our mini boss in this stage. A very interesting 2-armed octopus.
Iframes.
Iframes are delicious. And a little difference with the mini boss of this game, you get to watch them explode, unlike in the previous games.
Fatso taking a bonk from one of these head gunners here. These red guys here, they do a lot of damage when you hit them.
I think a lot of the enemies in this game do a lot of damage. I've found trying to play this game for the first time, it was really difficult getting through some of these stages.
Yep. Particular too, though. Those are the main culprits of by accident. And Fatso had a quick 2-cycle. Yeah, that was impressive.
That was beautiful.
Takes a lot of quick and very precise mashing. Oh, very nice. Earlier Cyclone, these guys bit and bite.
Yep.
One up in these
stages.
Start
showing up. Now, if one of them gets the, it's gonna be. I think it's bit first that appears. The yellow guy appears first. If one of them gets and the other one does not, it's gonna be kind of hard to tell who has the lead until we get to the 5th stage. So it's at the 5th stage that you have to see bit, and then you see bite somewhere from the 6th stage onwards. So that's gonna be where we determine who's in the lead after the 5th stage, unless we see them both at the same time. Fatso does not see bit in this run. Let's see if fslynx has to fight him. Nope, no bit in this stage. So we are going to see bit in a later stage. Oh, another nice fight for ColonelFatso on the mini boss. He is precise on these mini bosses.
What are iframes? These guys wonder, I'm sure. Very quick. Very, very quick.
Yes.
ColonelFatso doing a nice little air dash over that guy. If he would have taken a hit from that dude, he wouldn't have died, but very, very low HP after that. Gotta be a little bit careful there. We come into the Tunnel Rhino fight.
This is basically one of the most brilliant fights in the game. He runs into you or the wall. Usually the wall.
And he's not a fan of acid, I guess. Rhinos are, you know, weak to acid. Head over and over again, back and forth.
I think you get tired of running into the wall eventually and actually try to do something.
No, you have to for some reason lose a life. Or no, you have to lose a life after the bit and bite room. And then somehow he unlocks all of his moves. It's pretty great.
So Fatso maintains about a 10-11 second lead after Tunnel Rhino.
That full drill through the head gunner there. We haven't mentioned yet, but the drill in this is pretty great. Frames at the point that you shoot a drill that you can basically just walk through. Well, not walk, but usually you'd want to dash through them. You know, you dash through the enemies and they lose their hitbox for whatever reason. So the drill can be pretty
slow. Walking too slow. Always dash.
I started saying that and I was like, wait a minute, we're playing MMX, you don't walk through enemies.
No, why would you walk?
Bit.
Oh, we have a bit fight and fslynx. We have a bit fight, 2-bit fights. Now you don't want to actually, you want to use the weakness on bit until he gets down to the last few HP, then you want to kill him with a regular charge shot or some other weapon. Because if you have actually take him out with the actual weakness, that will actually destroy bit, and you have to sit there and watch him get destroyed. Whereas if you take him out any other way, he just takes off and gets out of there.
Fatso just icing through all these enemies. Probably noticed a lot of health drops coming out of that stuff, but it's a nice little quirk of this game. Fang, or Frost Shield weapon. Outside of like a few random, or a few minor exceptions, they will guarantee a health drop. Same with the acid as well, it'll guarantee an ammo drop. Pretty good catfish fight. Looks like a 4 drill. This is like the biggest RNG factor in 8-Mav run of this game. As soon as he jumps into the center attack, and the fastest way at that point is to use a drill. And anytime you use a drill, he's gonna, you know, have all sorts of long iframes. And then he's gonna jump up, and then as soon as he falls down, you can get another shot in. But so the less drills, the better.
And it looks like Fatso may have had a little bit of a better fight. He's widened his gap a little bit here. One thing I can definitely say about the all 3 X games in general, they have some excellent music in them. If you need some music to chill out to, this is great music to listen to.
Shoutouts to the bass line in this track specifically.
This is one of the great ones.
So they both had already fought in Bit, which makes this stage really, really short. Fight or doing the Vial stage. This is probably the shortest stage in the game. That's though already at the boss gate. fslynx trailing behind by, but definitely Fatso has got a commanding lead at this point.
Yeah, very, very commanding at this point. It would take a major problem like missing a major jump or hitting a spike or taking a death somewhere where you lose a lot of time, I think, to really lose the lead at this point.
ColonelFatso had a really nice quick kill. fslynx is about to have the same, it looks like. Yep, 2 cycle.
Yep, very good kill.
Pretty common theme for this game. What are iframes? Crawfish, when you use his which is a Triad Thunder, after you hit him with that, 2 seconds of no iframes. You just mash those lemons in as fast as you can. And that is how you kill that guy fast.
So now we're in our 6th stage, and this means that Bite can now appear. So Bite will appear anytime in these next 3 stages. And this could, again, completely RNG based. They may appear in different stages for both runners. Fatso through the mini boss.
A nice quick kill there. Takes 5 ice shots, so you just want to very beginning, and then mash them up there, just like fslynx did as well.
Very, very nice fight, yes.
At drill usage, as I was mentioning before. Knocks on someone else's enemies.
Now let's see what happens here. We have a Bite fight. fslynx does not have to fight Bite, so at this point it's going to look like fslynx is in the lead, but he still has to have that fight with Bite somewhere in the next 2 stages, and Fatso will just be able to go through that room without having to do anything in those 2 stages. And nice finish up by Fatso there, I forgot to mention that, as fslynx now reaches the boss.
Another big RNG point for X3 as well. Since they had already fought in Crawfish, a little bit less so for this run. Charges that he usually does quite as much. Well, you really don't have to deal with them at all if you start doing it early, just like fslynx did. Makes this fight a lot better having his weakness.
A nice kill there by fslynx. I have a hard time saying that name for some reason. Fatso is nearly finished the fight as well. Oh. And there it is.
Looks like he shot just a little bit early, but got him on the come down there.
We're down to 2 stages. fslynx still has a Bite fight ahead somewhere. Fatso is going to be able to skip right through that. Let's see what happens here.
He's saving it for the end. Last Maverick.
The last stage. You have to overcome a big obstacle to finish the game.
majority of the usage of weapon in this stage, especially on fslynx side, is the spinning blade there. A very overpowered weapon in this game. You can see it killed those head gunners in one hit.
Powerful. And nice elevator climb by Fatso there. And fslynx looks like he's coming up to the boss.
Oh boy, this guy's a tough one. fslynx doing a good job. Let's see what ColonelFatso can do. Splasher. Oh, he starts with a ray splasher. Splasher hit. Oh man, this is a close fight. I don't know if he's gonna make it.
fslynx did get the kill on Gravity Beetle, and we are going to see how fast Fatso can do this, if he can retain the lead. He is still in the lead at this point because fslynx still has to fight in the final stage, which he's about to go into right now.
Thankfully, Fatso also made it through the Gravity Beetle fight. Jump. That's actually all he can do when you use his weakness. It's gonna go for the low percent ledge grabs. He gets the first one. Yeah, a little bit of a weird setup on the second. He just opts for the up dash. For him.
And Fatso is now leading charge up another elevator here as fslynx is at the mini boss. And the shooting star has been dispatched.
Star mini boss away from each other at this point. Right.
Given the bite fight, I would still say it's a significant lead for Fatso at this point, but we'll see what happens.
Yep, I actually forgot about that, even though you had mentioned we should not forget about that. fslynx still has this bite fight, so let's see where this ends up.
He's gonna be hanging around here. He's gonna be hanging around here fighting bite, and Fatso's just gonna breeze right on by him at this point. How quickly can that meter drop?
Yeah, Fatso's.
And there's the lead.
Definitely got a good lead here still.
And fortunately did not get the full kill there, so just gets the runaway, tries to save a little time.
Cider right here. I mean, Hornet's not a free fight.
Yeah, it definitely does take a little while. We'll see what happens on the Hornet fight.
You know, he's not that hard, but he does a lot of damage, so let's see what happens. So he's going to go with the spinning blade, which actually isn't the intended weakness. The intended weakness is the gravity well. But since that induces much longer iframes, we're going to go with the spinning blade because it does 2 damage and much shorter iframes. You can get a lot more damage in a lot. And that's it.
And that's time. That's time for Fatso. fslynx will not be far behind. I imagine about another few seconds here, and we will have another dead Hornet. And there's time for fslynx. We'll get both of them in for an interview here, if we can.
Race.
It was a great race. They were in sync, right, going right into X3. It was close all the way here. And I see Fatso in the waiting room right now. Let's bring him up. ColonelFatso, welcome. Congratulations.
Thanks. I hope you guys had as much fun calling this race as I had playing it.
Do you miss X3? That's the real question.
Well, I don't understand what happened in X3. That was the best I've ever played it in by a long shot. How much time did I save over my PB? 20 seconds in X3 over my PB.
That's an excellent time save on your PB. Looking at the race going into X3, you actually killed the final boss, I think it was the crab, in sync. And you literally went to exchange games in sync, so you were literally tagged going right into X2. Did you feel any pressure going into X3?
Oh yeah, I was feeling hella pressure. I was... Actually, as soon as I took that weird death in Kuwanger, I was pretty much convinced I was going to lose this first game. So once I got ahead in X2, and then I started really feeling the stress, and you could see that I made a couple of silly mistakes late in X2 because of that. I was feeling the pressure, but I guess I just settled into it a little bit when we got into X3. Easy game.
Yeah, definitely easy game. Yeah, I loved most about that sync, especially in X2, was right at the end. Even the strats that you guys were using were identical at the end of the crab stage there.
I was lucky enough to see. I was lucky enough to see some of that actually. I forget if it was between games or while I was waiting for a crab to spawn or something. I saw that we were both in the underwater section doing the exact same thing. We both got punked by the jellyfish at the exact same time.
Even your burner setup to fall down was you both did a tiny hop and then. Psh.
Yeah, well, that's the setup you do when you take a hit, right? You got to do a small jump.
Yep.
You would do a larger jump if you didn't take a hit from the laser.
I'll interject here to say fslynx is also joining us. Welcome to the conversation, fslynx. Congratulations on a great race.
Hello, thanks. Congrats on the win, Fatso.
Oh my god, what a great race. Thanks for playing.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a beautiful race. We were kind of biting our nails a little bit going into X3 because it was synced, going right through that boss fight. It was completely synced. As Darren was saying a moment ago, the strategies for the bubble crab stage were pretty much almost identical, and it was an identical fight pretty much. It literally came down to X3 for this race.
Mm-hmm. So Lynx is actually a way better X3 player than I am normally. I guess it's just I had a good run.
Sometimes
he's on the any percent leaderboards. He's exceptionally well placed, and I am very much a middle tier runner. So it was a bit of a surprise to pull ahead.
It definitely can come down to RNG. No problem. I was interrupting you. I apologize. Definitely can come down to RNG, and it's definitely can play a factor in any race. I mean, we're going to have race 2 tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern, just to remind everyone watching right now. And for those watching on our YouTube channel, you're going to see it probably right after this, very soon, after it is played. So it's definitely going to be an exciting race. If it goes 3 games especially, it's going to be a really great race all the way, however it goes. You both put on an amazing show today. It was really great to watch. Great for my first time coming in and commentating one of these particular races.
Well, thanks. It was a lot of fun to play. So Darren, did you see what happened when I died at Kuwanger? It was that thing where if you shoot a charge shot from one side of a boss, sometimes it'll hit the wrong side of his hitbox and knock him into you. That's what happened with Kuwanger.
That's what happened?
Yeah, he got knocked into me and I died.
It's kind of interesting. I want to look back at that. Yeah, that's a weird one. I was really confused at what happened. I was like, did he get headbutted or what? Because that doesn't make sense. What?
Yeah, it's just the worst feeling because I couldn't have possibly predicted that.
That one I was about to ask actually, because that was confused the hell out of me. I was had no idea what was happening. I don't actually have any more questions outside of that. Do you have any more questions, Cyclone, or any last comments from?
I'm just curious if they have any. I'm just curious if they have any closing thoughts in regards to this race and anything to say going into the next one. Fatso, you go ahead first.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is the matchup I've been waiting for literally the whole tournament. Like, I was hoping that I would get to have this match against Lynx for the bronze medal, and I'm really happy that it's come to pass, because we're very well matched in X Games in general. And the races between us are always really exciting, so I'm super happy to get to do a best of 3 against him.
And fslynx, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, pretty much the same that Fatso said. I was really looking forward for this match, and yeah, it was a really good race. So I can't wait for Game 4.
Game 4? We've already done 3 games in this series? Wow! Man, we got through the 3 games in a hurry there. My goodness. No, I'm just kidding with you, obviously. Well, we both put on a great show. I look forward to Game 2 tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. We will see, if it's needed, we will see Game 3 at 3:30 on Sunday. So whether it goes to 2 or 3 games, it's going to be an exciting race for both the other 2 games here. Just want to highlight a couple things coming up on the channel. We do have on the main Speed Gaming channel later this evening, we have a Cuphead All Bosses run coming up, followed by Final Fantasy Randomizer. And later in the morning, we're going to have some Celeste. But again, if this is what you came for, you'll see that at 2 o'clock tomorrow. It looks like the channel has now been assigned. It is going to be on Speed Gaming 2 tomorrow, the second game of this series. So definitely look forward to that tomorrow. Darren, you have any final thoughts today?
Looking forward to tomorrow.
And let's have a really good race tomorrow, too. Let's make this a really spectacular series. So with that said, I just want to thank everyone in chat for watching. Let me actually run the command one more time. There we go. There's the command for the runners, so follow the runners. I'm sure they do a lot of X playing on their stream of the entire series, and I'm sure they do some other things as well, so definitely check them out, see what they're up to. I'm sure they always appreciate the company, and if you want to, you can also follow us. If we personally, I don't know what Darren does personally, but I know I don't stream myself yet, but definitely follow Darren, and I'm sure he'd appreciate company whenever he does any streams as well. So with that said, Darren, I'll give you the final word tonight. Have a good night, everyone.
For sure, yeah. I do play Mega Man from time to time of the X1. But anyway, watching, and thanks Speed Gaming for hosting the tourney. And as we close it out with this bronze match, it's been a lot of fun being able to commentate this. I don't think I'll be able to commentate tomorrow just because I'll be a little busy, but sure to watch the VOD after for sure. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Take care, Fatso and fslynx. I am signing out. See you, everybody.
All right, take it easy.
All right.
Thanks again.
Take care.
Good night.